All right, everyone. Today I'm really excited to welcome James Rose to the show. If you follow this channel, you know about my ICOR framework, about input, control, output, refine. And in this case, we actually will talk mainly about the refine part, which is workflow, automation, and optimization. So I'm really happy to have James here on the show. I actually follow his YouTube channel, and you should do so as well if you're really interested in getting the most out of Zapier and other automation tools. Welcome.
Hey, Tom. I am really excited to help some people with automation today. As you've probably seen on my channel, I'm pretty passionate about, I don't know, being lazy, I guess. I like automating things because it means I have to do less work. And yeah, it's really cool, flattering to hear that you followed my YouTube channel because I'm pretty sure I follow yours. If not, I'm following you on Twitter at least. Kind of lose track of these things. But yeah, I mean, I have a software product called Content Snare. That's kind of my main business. It's a product that people use to collect information and documents from clients. So you can kind of think of it like a type form that automatically saves. So people use it to collect like documentation from their clients when they're onboarding new clients and that kind of thing. My side thing is teaching people to become more productive and using Zapier to automate as much of your business as possible. And that's kind of flowed into Integromat and other tools now as well. And even I haven't really been teaching it yet, but home automation is becoming a big thing. What I do is that, are they Nanoleaf? I see behind you there.
Just finally somebody who knows the name and appreciates the automation behind this. So yeah,
I appreciate how much that would have cost. Nanoleaf are not cheap, and that's a lot of them.
Yeah, don't tell my wife. Oh, just joking here. So yeah, it's actually all the way around. So I thought,
Wow.
I'm not one of these YouTubers with a few in the back sponsored things. I will just make it properly, and I just love it because especially my children love it as well. When they come in and I say Siri, so I cannot say it, otherwise we will trigger it. But they will have the dance show here and things like that, the different moods. I really love it, yeah.
Yeah,
So
awesome.
interested to have this home automation as well. I also have a few things there, here and there for the heating and, Philips Hue, lightning and things like that.
Hmm.
We are much further down the road with this. With home automation than a few years ago, but I still think there are a few years to go in order to make it reliable 100%. So
Yeah, I
maybe we,
agree.
we,
It's
we
pretty
dive
good.
into this quickly, with the bridges and everything getting connected and the standards they're implementing now with the home
Yeah.
automations. I think that's a big step forward than
Mhm.
everything being disconnected. But yeah, what's your thought on this? What do you have
Yeah,
automated
I
at home?
agree. I mean, like if you used home automation, I don't know, even 3 or 4 years ago, it was just not even close to where it is now. In fact, I've got this device on my desk here that I'm probably going to resell on Facebook Marketplace called a Logitech Harmony Hub.
Mhm.
This was an infrared transmitter that you could, communicate with Alexa to turn infrared devices on and off, like your TV, air conditioner, make not smart devices smart.
Yeah.
And it is horrible. For as a remote, it's okay, but using with an Alexa, it's just so bad.
Come on, it's not
And I just got a
horrible. It
sixty
is the
dollar.
beginning. Or it was the.
Sorry.
It's not horrible. It was the beginning of something.
Yeah, that's right. But I just got like a $60 device called a Broadlink RM4
Hmm.
that I connected to my Alexa last weekend to replace this thing, and it is just perfect. It's it cost $60, and it works with my air conditioner, my TV, my sound bar, can't remember, and my outdoor fan. And like it speaks over radio frequency as well. So my outdoor fan, so I can
Oh,
turn
that's
the light
nice.
up the fan on my deck on with it as well. And
Okay.
it's flawless and instant. And so, I do agree that there's a long way to go. Like the interface for Alexa is still a bit average. Google Home is quite um, average as well. Yeah, I don't know,
So
but I think in 5 years it's going to be crazy good.
why do you prefer Alexa over Google Home or Siri or
So
HomeKit?
I'm not in the Apple. I'm not in the
Ah, all
Apple
right, okay.
ecosystem at
That
all. I
explains a
know
lot.
you are.
Yeah.
I see some of your most popular videos are about the Apple Pencil. I was having a little snoop at your YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really like Apple as a company. But that said, I'm also starting to not like Google as a company. So
All right.
maybe I can be swayed to move over soon. But as far as voice recognition goes and capabilities, I find Alexa is just the best by far. Like it doesn't even from what I can tell with my friends who use Siri, I believe the Android one is better from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm.
But then also Alexa just destroys Google. Like it is so much better at certain things, you know. So Alexa's not great with getting results from the web. Google is really good at like instant answers. If you ask it like what year Genghis Khan was born or something, like it's got all the search engine scraping stuff that they do now, and it'll probably give you an answer where Alexa likely won't.
Yeah, and Siri
But as far
neither.
as control and normal everyday things, Alexa's good.
Okay. Yeah, I never had the chance to check out Alexa. So, and with Apple, it's really the thing. When you start to be in the universe, it drags you in. I was a Windows user or Microsoft user for so many years until I don't know. It is 3 years ago where I went more and more, or where I switched to the MacBook Pro from my Windows desktop. But the
Yep.
Windows desktop is still here for gaming, so there's nothing comparable, obviously. And but yeah, it is just in the Apple universe. Once you have everything from Apple, everything works seamlessly. And I told others already, it might sound stupid, but my most favorite thing is just to copy paste. So I copy it on my iPhone and I paste it on my MacBook Pro, and this is just so seamlessly.
Oh, that's cool. I did not know that was a thing.
Yeah, and a lot of little things like this, or my Apple Watch unlocks my MacBook Pro when I open it up, and tiny
Mm.
things that you realize when you have the different pieces. So Apple is really good in providing you this, and having Apple TV as your home hub for the home kit and things like that.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some things that attract me to it. But also, I'm kind of like, I don't want to be that much in one ecosystem
Yeah,
as
and
well,
that's
because then
really
you
the
can't get
issue.
out.
That's really the issue. So
Yeah.
on this channel, we are looking for tools that work cross-device, or I'm looking for myself that work
Mm.
on cross-device because I have to access this stuff also on Windows. And yeah, MacBook or Apple in general is restrictive to many things. On the other hand, it has a lot of tools that are dedicated to Apple, not by Apple, but for Apple, and they are high quality. So yeah, there's pros and cons.
Yeah.
Costs, obviously. So
Yeah.
I think nano leaves are the cheapest stuff here in the studio. Yeah. So, but okay. So this is all automated. Before we started, we actually talked about that it's 6 a.m. here in the morning and how I set up my alarm clock. And I just mentioned that I thought the alarm clock is one of the first automations humanity created, isn't it? So, and you told me just how you set up your alarm clock. Maybe you want to share this with the community as well.
Yeah, it is quite a fun little automation because now I'm starting to like home automation and business automation have always kind of been separate to me, but in a way, they're starting to merge now. And even just my simple alarm automation is an example of that, I guess. Because so a couple of things. I don't like to sleep with my phone on next to me. But I obviously want it for my alarm. So I use airplane mode. So I created a quick little routine in Google, and this is possible with both Alexa and Siri as well. It's pretty simple to set these things up now. But I say I call out Google. I'm not going to say it, but and then I say good night, and she comes back and says your first meeting in the morning is at X time, right? So she might say 8 o'clock. She might say like midday. And then I go, yes, like I don't need an alarm. So she'll read out the first event of the day and then ask me what time I want to set my alarm. So I can either say no alarm or 6 a.m. if it's an early podcast or something. And she'll set my alarm turn off the bedroom lights with the Philips Hue. So she'll turn off the bedroom lights, and then also put my phone into airplane mode. So that's pretty handy. That's just like a cool little automation just before bed. Because the benefit is I don't like to look at my phone either. Like blue light and stuff. I'm pretty bad at sleeping. So that's actually the reason I made that, is so because I could just do that all quickly myself, but I don't want to look at my screen.
Yeah. So, it makes total sense. But how did you set this up? For those who don't know how this works.
Yeah, so that's just in Google Home now. So I threw my phone away,
So I guess
it's not
you have
next
a
to me
Google
for the
Calendar.
podcast. But sorry,
you're using Google Calendar?
yes. So I don't know how it works if you're on another device, but yeah, it's another calendar. But yeah, so it was just in the routines section for. Sorry, it's not Google Home. It's for Google Assistant. I lied.
Yeah, Google Assistant. Yeah.
Yes. So Google Assistant, and you can create a routine. And I was literally just scrolling through the items, like the actions and things you can get it to do. And I was very surprised to see that one of them is read out the first event of the day.
Yeah. So good night.
So that was kind of pivotal. Sorry.
Yeah. So good night and good morning. One of the standards in there, isn't it, that you can choose and then just change. And for those who don't know, Google Assistant is the application that you download in order to control your hub or home devices for Google. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all on every phone I've had for the last 3. It's been on there by default. So I don't even know if it's a thing you even have to download anymore. But yeah, it's just like Siri, right? It's
but you
baked
can
in.
use it. You can use it on iPhone as well. So there's the Google Assistant as well. I used it a long time, and yeah, that's great. So reading out the events and then setting up the alarm. This is already life convenience stuff, isn't it? But maybe we dive a bit more into the workflow automations now. And as far I understand, you are into Zapier and Integromat, and I use Zapier in my business for a lot of things. So when, for example, new people sign up to the membership, it is sent out to my accountant and things like that via Zapier. But I have to say, I hate Zapier to death when it comes to usability and UI UX. I mean, and there comes in Integromat, where I like things that give me the perfect overview of the workflows or the systems that I set up. And I think Integromat makes a much better job when it comes to connecting the dots there, and you have some better if conditions where you can split things. In Zapier, you have paths, which is just confusing for people. I would have expected it would be a conditional thing, but things that run in parallel, and you can't drag. And when you create something down the line and you want to move it up, there's no way to isn't it? So
it's awful. It's so bad. But look, I think Integromat is no better. Like, I totally agree that getting a full overview on one screen, being able to see the whole workflow, amazing. And the way that you can watch the workflow run, amazing compared to Zapier, right? But I think that's where it basically ends as far as usability goes.
That's why I never switched, because I thought when it comes to reliability, just a gut feeling, I stayed for Zapier there. Sorry for
I actually find Integromat probably even better on that front. I'm just talking about the usability side of things. So, like, if you aren't a developer, I find Integromat's really, really hard to learn. Like, because some of the things you have to use inline functions, for example, and those functions are literally like strpos, like for string position. I think that's one of them anyway. But like, if you don't know development, how the hell are you supposed to know what that is?
True.
It's a no-code tool for people who know how to code. Is the way I look at Integromat, which is unreal. Like, I know how to, if you know even basic coding, Integromat's amazing. But once you start getting into like iterators and array functions and all this sort of stuff, if you've never programmed anything, you're in trouble. Like, there's no way you're going to wrap your head around any of that. I think if you've got a pretty good idea of Zapier, like you're an advanced Zapier user with a little bit of code knowledge, Integromat will be fine, like for you. But so I teach people how to use Zapier through a course, and the reason I haven't done that with Integromat is because I don't know where to start. Like there's a lot of presumed knowledge in just basic like Integromat stuff, and so maybe that's the thing. It's like I could create a course for people who know how to use Zapier to come across to Integromat, but just to learn from scratch, I think is a big deal.
Yeah, you could
Integromat. It's quite hard.
build up on your Zapier course, and if you want to have
Mm,
something more advanced, then you can go to Integromat. But I
yeah.
absolutely agree, and I overlooked this, to be honest, because I'm not using Integromat yet. I looked into this several times, and then I thought, okay, let's just set up this in Zapier, because you're right, it ended there when it came to actually getting these things in there, and Zapier does a great job holding your hand, and you go through the several steps all the time, and you have the standards there, and then you have all the different Zapier um, home, or the in-house tools from Zapier that helps you
Yeah.
with the filter formatting, reformatting, and all this, or reminders, the digest,
Yeah.
and things like that. So yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. It is much easier this way. So quality of life could be increased. Features.
Yeah.
So for you know, re- moving around actions or something like that, this would be a good thing to do, and less destructive things, because you can mess up so quickly in
Mhm.
Zapier if you're working on it's like operation on open hearts whenever I go into my SAP. So I rather make a duplicate of a SAP, then I
Mhm.
rearrange, and then I shut the one off and switch the other one on. And another thing where I think it's difficult when you pull in sample data. So, for people don't know, whenever you connect Zapier to any of your tools, let's say, what do we use, for example? The Google Calendar, let's put it this
Mhm.
way. And you look for sample data, it just shows you some recent samples. Or let's stay with my membership. So I have the last three people who signed up, for example, but it only goes back so far. And if I'm looking for automation for refunds, for example, and there was no recent refund, I'm not able to get this sample in. So these are
Mhm.
restrictions where I think, okay, what should I do there? So there's no solution, or maybe I'm blind.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that is the world of automation. There is just so many different things you have to find workarounds for, like, and a lot of time it is just easier to go ahead and create yourself as a user and refund yourself, to get a real refund in there. Yeah, and sometimes Integromat suffers from the same problems. It depends what the
Yeah,
trigger is.
maybe Integromat doesn't help there either. I think it's a general thing, but yeah, on one hand, this is just complaining on a high level, where I think we are lucky that we have something like Zapier,
Yeah.
and it is so satisfying once we find workarounds and things start to work and data comes in and out, and then we
Yeah,
are,
it is. I feel like a wizard. I always joke that like when,
yeah,
when you get an automation going and it just runs and it's flawless and you're like, wow, I never have to do this again. You feel magic.
yeah.
It's pretty awesome feeling.
Yeah, it is like this. And you can look for others who don't know about Zapier, and you create this. You are the wizard for them as well.
Yes.
So, but talking about Zapier and Integromat, I think that's just one thing. We have the direct integrations between tools, and I'm not talking about the tools itself. There's still other automation tools like Plixi, for example. That's something I talk a lot on my channel, if you don't know about this. It
Mhm.
is a two-way synchronization between Todoist and a lot of other tools. So Todoist or
Ah.
Microsoft To Do. So I
Mhm.
use this to have two-way synchronization with my Google Calendar. I know Todoist has this on its own already, but it is tightly integrated. So I can, for example, use now Asana, have a two-way synchronization with Todoist, and Todoist has a two-way synchronization with my Google Calendar. And therefore, I have a workaround that my Asana becomes a two-way synchronization with my Google Calendar. They make sense. So whenever
Mhm.
I move around my events or my tasks on my Google Calendar, it gets updated in Asana or now ClickUp and so on. So it seems Plixie is not something that you're aware of.
No, I mean, I don't. I only use one calendar. But yeah, there are a lot of different automation tools out
Yeah,
there that are, special use cases. Like PySync
yeah,
is another
just
one. It's
wanted to mention, yeah.
two-way sync for contacts. But a lot of the time I find that direct integrations, like this is different because it is a different in-between purpose-built tool that's like clearly made to solve a very specific problem.
Yeah.
Totally fine with that. I find direct integrations often end up kind of half-baked.
Okay.
So like a lot of software companies will create an integration with another tool just to say they've
Yeah,
got an
yeah, I
integration.
absolutely agree. I absolutely agree. I mean, I say rather have some integration than none, looking at Notion, for example. So you're completely disconnected from everything. But then I see also, I agree, that you have, for example, you can connect Asana with Miro. Miro is a whiteboard or what I use for mind mapping. And you can get in the tasks into Miro and then drag them around and things like that, but you can't do anything else. So they're just there. So this is what is
Yeah,
half baked. I absolutely agree with this. But
yeah.
it's interesting to have something like Plixie who are giving the same connection but give you a lot more features in order to set this up. And then it's really helpful. And PySync as well. This was a solution for me. I'm using Intercom on my website for chat and support, and it is just premium there, but it is crap when it comes to email marketing. So I'm
Yeah,
using Active Campaign in combination, and PySync
yeah.
just syncs this with each other. The issue is they charge you so much money for this, and I'm
Yeah,
always
well, it's
so
owned by HubSpot now, so that's not surprising.
yeah.
What did you say that you're syncing with Active Campaign? What's the other product?
Intercom,
Oh, Intercom. Yeah,
Intercom.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
gotcha.
the
Yeah, so we actually trying to do the same sync, but see, and this is a problem with a lot of my integrations typically. So we need to synchronize Intercom companies with Active Campaign, and PySync does not support companies, so that just makes it completely useless for us. And every time I go to use
oh right,
PySync, there's like
okay,
one little thing missing. It's like missing this custom field section
yeah.
for like our subscription service, ChargeBee. It's missing. It doesn't work with like the one or two custom fields that I need don't come through. So again, it's like useless. And I like want to use PySync, but it's always missing what we need.
Yeah, I was just going back to Active. So Intercom started their series, as they call it. So you
Mm-hmm.
can create your campaigns, and I thought, okay,
Which
now
is
I can.
nice.
Yeah, which is nice. I thought this as well, the interface and everything, and I thought, oh my God, finally, I have an alternative. I don't need to stay in Active Campaign. I have one tool now. I canceled the subscription. I went to Intercom, built up
Oh
all
no.
this thing, and it didn't work. It was just not reliable. Some triggers
Uh-oh.
never went down. And I was in the support section and, going back and forth. And there's a big delay for 4 days or something until they answer. And I say, okay,
Yeah.
I try to run a campaign here and it's not working. This is just not the thing. So you can't release this feature and you can't rely on it. So I set up another series for my free email course that you can get where you learn about the ICOR framework, and it was just not working. And they provide you now a series, but you can't have a form for people to sign up to this email letter. And the other thing is, if people unsubscribe, they unsubscribe forever from Intercom, isn't it? So Active
Yes.
Campaign,
Oh my God. It's one
yeah,
of my biggest problems. Thank you.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's a
So,
workaround, however. There's a workaround. I was using Gravity Forms because I'm on WordPress and tried to set up so you can use it with tags and people just go to a specific website and the series would stop because that's the exit
uh-huh.
rule. So they just unsubscribe this way. But it is just not transparent.
Yeah.
So in Active
So I
Campaign, there
use
is.
Integromat for the same thing. I have a special link that will just cancel the one series that they are in. It opens a webhook to Integromat when they click a link in the email and then redirects them to my website. and then the Integromat workflow removes the tag from them in Intercom to shut down the onboarding. But I honestly, I don't believe Intercom is a good marketing tool at all. It is made for support. We use it because it's great for supporting current customers. As a marketing tool, it's not there yet. But no. I am disappointed to hear about the series because our entire onboarding has just been shifted there, and I did not know that it has issues sometimes not working, because I can see people going through it, but I haven't checked if everyone is going through it. So now I got to go and look at that.
It was even one of these series I tested was even one of the templates they provide. So, like this, are you interested in this and this? They click yes, then you can download a free demo of my digital journal designer. So the bot, they answer yes, and this triggers sending out an email. So people click yes, and 80% they received the email, and for the other 20% they were just dropped off the series. So I can't, I had to build a workaround to give them a tag to re-enter the series in order to get them back. And I thought, okay, if things like this happen, this shouldn't happen, because I want to set this up and then I want to forget it. So this never happened in ActiveCampaign to me, at least to my...
ActiveCampaign's far from being a perfect tool either, though. I have a lot of beef. A lot of beef. I'm an ActiveCampaign partner. It says so on my mug. But I have a lot of beef with them. Their UI has been super slow lately, like unbelievably slow. And I literally hate going in to change anything because it's so unbearably slow to use.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons for Intercom as well that I switched. And,
why can't anyone get this right, Tom?
I don't know. I always think I should start my own stuff, and then I think, nah, there must be reasons why. The issue is really a lot of these companies like ActiveCampaign and what could I think of as well? They started Evernote, for example. They started a long time ago, and it was great back then, but the framework and everything is no longer made for what you want to do in there. And the functionalities that you have in ActiveCampaign, and also the integrations with other tools. So this is another point, isn't it? That we can do much more. This is one of the reasons why it is still there. But now they also tried to start this conversation thing. So I thought, okay, then let's do the other way around and make the chat window there. And oh my God, just so you have it, don't do it.
This is a whole topic I could talk about for days. in like jack of all trades, master of none. This is a thing that I see a lot of software companies doing. I mean, I don't exactly have the most successful software company, so maybe it's not even worth listening to me. But personally, I hate it when tools try to do everything, because they end up doing everything poorly. And that Infusionsoft got the name Confusionsoft. Confusionsoft because they try to do all this crap, landing pages and this and that, and payments and subscriptions and affiliate. Like they're doing everything in one tool, and then they started doing everything half baked again. And so I always loved ActiveCampaign because it had a really good CRM, a decent CRM and really good email marketing. And that's what they did. And then they brought in conversations. I was like, oh, this is cool. I was like a little bit excited. And then I was like, this is rubbish. And it's still rubbish. And then what do they bring in now? Landing pages. Now they're doing landing pages.
And I'm like, oh my God, now it's going down the road.
And I'm like, your email editor is crap. It is the worst email editor I've used. And you're supposed to be an email marketing tool.
Rather focus on this and make it perfect. I thought exactly the same. I mean, undo things and things like that. Undoing things in email creation in ActiveCampaign, it's just insane. And then they create new features, and this is for so many tools. Instead of focusing to do one thing right, they just start other things. I mean, two things. Todoist, for example, they focus on being a task manager and nothing else, and they barely implement new features. And what they do it well, and they rather focus on integrations with other things so I can access my task. ClickUp, they started with, one app to replace them all, and then they realized, okay, we can't be a grocery list. I mean, you can be, but it's not the best tool for this. However,
No.
the approach from Seb Evans, he was on the interviews as well. We put it out there, and it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. It's the same thing. They push out a lot of features, and they do this very quickly. And what I realized, they also fix things very quickly and then take it away. But it is fun for me to use, and if you're a bit nerdy, you like ClickUp, but I'm not sure. I implemented it for clients as well, but I also implemented Asana, and Asana is a lot more restrictive, so you can't be the architect in there. But sometimes this is the better solution, not having so many features, but the features they're there. Asana is always up. It never let me down in the where I implemented it there in the clients.
I'm 100% on board with you on this. Like, I was literally going to bring up ClickUp as a perfect example of trying to do everything.
Did you
because
actually
it's
know
their
that
tagline.
did you actually? No, they changed it. They changed the tagline. So now it's no longer, let me just try to...
One app to replace them all. That's what it was.
Yeah,
and
it
was that like 2 weeks ago.
Because Layla, she was on the show as well from Process Driven. She actually tweeted about this, and she figured it out.
Oh, still says it for me. Oh no, yeah, one place for all your work.
Exactly, that's what they changed.
They haven't changed their meta title. The meta title still says one app to replace them all.
Oh really?
Yep, in the tab title in Google it says one app to replace them all, but then it says one.
See, and this is what this is when you mess up. You change one feature, and then you're going down. Sometimes
so I'm actually looking to switch away from ClickUp. I really, really liked ClickUp at first. I used to use them every time we were rolling out a new feature for our product. I used to use them for inspiration on UI, UX, but I've stopped doing that now because I honestly find it overcomplicated, and
navigation is just a pain. It is just not intuitive enough, I think. Especially, open up tasks and then going back, and you always click wrong. And now building up the team, I think it is fine when you make it simple and you don't allow people to change stuff. But if people start doing their own stuff in there. But on the other hand, what are your thoughts on the other one that claims to be the all-in-one, which is Notion?
So I use Notion too. I like it. I'm not using it for an all-in-one. I'm using it for note-taking and like internal documentation, keeping track of like our feature ideas, what we're working on next. We're only just moving our company into it. Like, we started last week or 2 weeks ago. Like, it's brand new. I've been using it personally as an Evernote replacement for quite a while, and I don't mind it for that. I wish it had APIs. I know that's coming. But you know what? I've been having a look at Coda. Yeah. Coda looks really good. What do you think of Coda?
I just had the project and design head of project and design from Coda an interview, and it changed a lot of my thoughts about this, because they really focus on building these building blocks and automations and so on, and integrations with other tools. And that sounded really exciting. And their approach is really that you can build up your workspace the way you want it. And I'm an on and off user of Coda, where I always go back and see, how I could use it. I like the approach. It is the availability on the different tools now where I think Notion is different, and also the pages. So when I have a database, for example, and I have an item in there, it is a page, so I can open it up and I can add whatever I want to this item. I think that's not a thing in Coda yet. They're planning to work on this, but it is just the information that you have in the columns, isn't it? You can't do anything.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I haven't given it a proper go yet, because I really have a problem with the way Notion databases work. Like, I often have issues with them, like copying and pasting in bulk data is annoying. I actually often find myself falling back to Airtable for database
I just wanted to ask if you are using Airtable for that.
Literally right before this call, I was building an automation with Integromat and Airtable. Yeah, so I really like it, but what I don't like is that it's a kind of,
Yeah,
I
it's a
find it just
table.
too separate.
It,
Sorry?
it is a table.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
it's good for some things.
So what I built up in Notion is actually not databases. So for example, having a software database where the software is in there, and then I have my YouTube videos, and I can just connect the software with my videos, and this way I see all the videos I made on the software and back and forth. I can do this in Airtable as well. So it would make sense to really build up databases. But I think Notion is a great hybrid. When I now want to take notes, I can mention this data, and I have now the backlinks. And people call me out for that. That I say I like the backlinks more than I like them in Rome Research. They said, "Oh, you have so much more things you can do in Rome Research." I understand that, but it's not that's not what I need in Rome Research. That's not what I need from the backlinks. I just want to mention the stuff and see it on the other side where it was mentioned. That's all I need from the backlinks in Notion. So this is another feature that makes Notion separate from Airtable or Coda.
Okay, so Coda doesn't have that feature yet.
Not yet.
I'm sure they will.
I was talking about this with on this interview as well. Yeah. From a technical point of view, backlinks is no magic. So I wondered about this. I was talking to Ian Small from Evernote, the CEO, and I said as well, it is the mindset of humanity, I think, and this changed a lot during COVID as well, I guess, because Ian Small said that only 2% of the users of Evernote actually use tags in Evernote, and I said, okay, but I think the reason is that people don't understand the advantage of tags over folders. So this is why I also teach about this, that you more flexible using tags to find information or connect information. And this is when Rome Research came in, having these backlinks and building up this graph in the background and so on. This is a good approach, but we are not there yet that we can really leverage the information that is created this way. That's just my thinking. And staying at Evernote, I stay in Evernote for one reason. I'm using it for my document dump. So I have the scanner back there. It scans to Evernote. This is not possible with Notion or any other alternative yet. So Evernote is for me the best thing. So it is OCR. I find my stuff later on. I can automate it cool. Using Filterize. So Filterize is an automation tool for Evernote. And so when something scans in and it recognizes the title, it will just move it directly to the folder, creates reminders for this and so on. I'm not even using it, but it is working this way. And this was my reason. And if I hear people saying I switched from Evernote to Notion or any other alternative, I wondered why. But then I realized, okay, so many people use Evernote for note taking, and that's something I never used Evernote for.
Yeah. There's so many options now. I think I really need to get better at the whole sort of note taking thing. Like I'm pretty bad at it at the moment. So I haven't even really used backlinks, and I don't often just write out my thoughts and link to other things. Like I've seen videos on how people use Roam, and I'm like, I just don't think I operate this way. Like people are like, they talk about it's better for humans, and I'm just wondering maybe I'm actually a computer.
Oh, come on.
Because I kind of like folders and databases.
Let's put it as it is. It looks ugly, and when I want to build up nice pages with my information in there, I want to look at it and it looks nice. So in Notion, I can do this. I can throw anything in there, like videos and whatever, and I have work instructions for my team. Just looks great. So you can't do this in ClickUp still, and Rome Research is far from this. However, this being said, authors maybe can leverage from this. I'm not a writer, so. And that's what I teach or coach my members as well. Take the notes where they belong to. So there's no need for a proper note-taking app, I would say, in many cases, because if you're a team leader or something like that, and you go into the teams, I don't like it when 5 people sit around, everybody's taking notes in their own notebooks, and information is all over the place. And one person in the end of the meeting sends out an meeting minutes, and this gets dumped in the archive for everybody. And 2 weeks later, you have exactly the same meeting talking about the same thing again. So instead of that, I say, come on, just open up the task you're talking about, take a comment there, and everybody is aligned. And this is so quick fixes. So yeah. I'm not a note taker either, for that reason. I like
So like,
databases as well.
I mean, pretty much the only like stuff I use day to day is like random content ideas that I have, like, and I use a database for that. I just add another row about like a concept,
Yeah.
that like I was thinking about, like, I don't know, just writing a little bit about YouTube or something the other day. So I create like a line in a database in Notion. I open it as a page, which is why when you said Coda don't have that, I was like, oh damn.
Yeah.
So I start writing about it, and then I tag it with specific to that database tags. These aren't global tags, just literally like what medium I think this is good for Twitter and a YouTube video. So I put tags on for mediums I can turn this into. And then I have like columns for like when I actually create a video or whatever from it, so I know I've used that idea, so I can filter it out like that. That's pretty much the only day-to-day note taking that I use.
Yeah, I like this with the tags and the purpose. So that's what I actually set up in ClickUp, and the forms. So actually on my iPhone, I have the forms as a button. And I just click this, and the form goes up, and I enter the title and the short description, what the idea is about. Also switch the tags, and this creates the new row, and you have this available also in Notion, no, but Airtable and so on. You have forms as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
But how do you? And that's really an interesting question. How do you handle? Because this fills up very quickly, isn't it? And then I starting to repeat myself with ideas sometimes. And then, how do you keep this up to date? Do you start deleting all stuff or merging stuff so you keep it small?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't really got to that point yet. So a lot of the times I'm obviously just filtering things out so that I can't see them once I've written about them. But it's also all there, like to view all. When you have an idea, you can kind of look at what you've written about before, and obviously there's part of your own memory there. Like there's always, you can't really stop the fact that you will forget about things. Like you can search for keywords and see if you've written about something similar before, if it gets too big. But sometimes it's okay to write a new take on something, right?
Yeah. It is just getting it out of your mind and have peace of mind for this reason. So I don't want to forget. I think that's great using drafts. Oh, I think that's only an Apple thing. So when I'm driving, there was a big issue for me while driving. I have the most ideas. So using drafts on my Apple Watch, I'm able to talk to this and take the notes this way. I mean, I can do this with Evernote as well, whatever you want.
Okay.
But this way I had peace of mind as well, that at least I got it somewhere saved instead of holding on a parking slot and start typing.
Yeah, so I don't take any large notes while driving, but another good thing, another automation tool is ifttt.com. That's got a really good Google Assistant integration, so you can create custom commands to do something like add something to my to-do list, and it'll go ahead, like you plug it into whatever to-do system you're using. So that's how I dump my thoughts while I'm driving, but it's not. Yeah, it's like just a to-do item rather than a full stream of consciousness thing. For stream of consciousness, I tend to use Otter, Otter.ai, because it's pretty good transcription, and then it'll you can say dump that to your to-do list as well, like, or you could automate that.
Oh yeah. So we are back in automations there. So IFTTT, good that you mentioned this. Actually, I have IFTTT included as well. So my nano leaves actually blink blue if somebody signs up to my membership.
Oh, that's cool. That is really cool. Damn it, I need to do something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I have a LaMetric, you know this. So many YouTubers have this as well, the LaMetric clock there, So it knocks on the door whenever somebody signs up. So it knocks and it blinks blue, and it just yay, and it shows the name who signed up. So yeah, that's great.
Nice. What was the clock? Sorry.
La metric.
La metric.
La
Something
metric.
I might need to look at. I don't know what that is.
So you can do a lot of, especially the IFTTT integration with this works great, and you can use webhooks there to trigger it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, that looks really cool. I'm gonna have to have a look at that. Another thing to blow some money
You actually
on.
can set up a button that triggers Zapier on there and IFTTT buttons. So you have a button on top. When you press this button, it will trigger an IFTTT automation.
Okay. Wow, this looks really cool.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Oh man. Oh wow, it's not cheap though. Whew.
Yeah, that's the thing. But it's worth it that I can see this, the clock. Mainly it's on the clock and the date.
Yeah, that's a quite expensive way to see the time and date,
Yeah,
but
but it is
I'm
good
sure
when
there's
you
some
when you
other fun
connect it
stuff
with
you
the
can do.
when you connect it with the automation, it makes sense. I have the clock and the date, and whenever automation comes in, it switches to this and shows me the information, and then it goes back. It's like a news ticker. Yeah, have a look.
Very cool.
So,
Man,
James, it was nice to have this conversation with you. It was, I think, all over the place. Was very
it was.
interesting. Very many similarities here, business-wise, what we're tackling. And just let my people know where they can find you and subscribe your channel.
Yeah, sure. So, I am a guy. If you search jimmyrose.me on YouTube, I should show up. Also, if you just go to jimmyrose.me, it's my website. All my socials are there. My newsletter's there. If you're interested, occasional stuff about productivity and automation. It's probably the best two spots. I was going to say I'm on Twitter at _JimmyRose, but I took a Twitter course this morning, and now I'm seriously considering removing that underscore. So I might have to create two accounts and just redirect the old one to the new one.
So, James, thank you very much for being on the show, and I hope we will have a follow-up, because that was very interesting. I think we just scratched the surface here.
Yeah, Tom, thanks for having me, and I'd love to do that. Maybe we can focus on one topic instead of talking about everything automation. So.
Yeah, but I think it was a nice to have a workaround through how everything works together. So I think that was great. All right, then see you next time.
See you, Tom.